Policy means is that when you come to the head office, we will attend to you and deal with you. Sometimes you don't necessarily have to see the minister. Sometimes you have to see the principal director in charge of the arts and culture sector. Sometimes you have to see the secretary, who is the acting permanent secretary of the ministry, because I'm not always there in the ministry. But if you come to visit and you want us to help you, you want to see the minister, and I'm there, I'll certainly attend to you. That's how we operate. So we have an open door policy, where a government, a public policy institution. Our job is to interface with you and deal with the questions of policy, legal, and all that, as the issues that you are willing to address in relation to the work that you do. I want to commit to you that I think we need to work hard, all of us, to earn the respect of the artists in this country. What do I mean by that? I mean that we don't want to see our artists being disparaged unnecessarily. We need, as government, to bring out that voice that situates the artists in the area where they belong in terms of respect, dignity, and honor. And we are going to be doing that. As government, we will pronounce ourselves very clearly where such incidences as would hemorrhage and erode the confidence in the artists happen. We will be making that pronouncement. And I want the Committee of Artists and Culture Practitioners in Bulawayo to understand that in a lot of these matters, we have to meet halfway. The economy in Zimbabwe at the moment is not doing very well. When the economy is not doing very well, it has a direct impact on the soft areas of the economy. What are the soft areas of the economy? Sport, recreation, arts, and culture. Those are the soft issues. We should put across an argument as a sector, which is decomposed into figures, to explain to the fiscal authorities our contribution to the economy, our contribution to the GDP, our contribution in terms of net exports, our contribution in terms of the quantum of money that exchanges hands from Monday to Sunday as a result of the arts and culture sector in the country. And for that reason, we have a chief economist now at the ministry. We should be working with the sector to do the numerical values of the work that we represent and the work that we do. So that I can be able to say to Minister Chombo, Minister Chombo, this is what your art and culture sector is doing per annum, per week, per month. And therefore, it is no longer possible to relegate this sector to the fringes of economic development. It is no longer possible to sustain a view that says sport, recreation, arts and culture are pastimes. These are now part of the real economy. So that conversation we are going to be having. I thank you for this. Thank you very much.
We thank you very much for the presentation and the response to each of those presentations that were made. And the Minister is able to take a couple of questions, and we'll ask you, if you're asking a question, you stand up and tell us who you are, and then you ask your question, or maybe if it's a comment, you will make your comment.
Congratulations on your appointment. My comments really dovetail into what Obanyati has already raised. I was writing it down, so I won't reiterate them, but I want to just highlight on some things that I believe.
Would you please just introduce yourself, who you are, and which sector you are in, and what you do?
My name is Admire Mita. I'm a musician as well as a journalist, and I've covered the field of arts and culture for the past 20 years. Now, so that is to give me an overview of the sectors. So my contribution really pertains to the multi-sectoral approach. Because I noticed here that the local government is not represented, namely or specifically the Department of Community Services. So I believe in future meetings we need them to be part of this kind of conversation so that they are aware of what kind of things that are impacting the citizens in their community, for the purposes of sensitizing them about the needs and requirements. Because now from here, someone would need maybe to go and interface with them and talk to them and sensitize them to what they are actually expected to do or to offer in terms of services and budgetary considerations. Then the other thing is, our understanding of arts and culture needs to broaden beyond the traditional sectors. We need to embrace ICTs. And this also dovetails into distribution of content. We're talking so much about distribution of content, but you need to also understand that a lot of our content is being distributed via the ICTs. And that dynamic is very, very critical in terms of the growth of the sector, in terms of distribution. And therefore, I recommend maybe that in your interactions with the other ministers, the ICTs may consider levying some of them for, to fund, arts and culture. And by way of mobilizing resources, I'm proposing maybe a national lottery that could also contribute to the funding of our arts and culture. This has been done in other countries. It's not really reinventing the wheel. It's training. And also it's still dovetailing with multi-sectoral approach. I do not know what kind of conversation you have with the Minister of Higher Education and Culture, because here in Bulawayo, for example, there is a lot of artists that are self-trained. So I'm recommending that places like the Bulawayo School of Creative Arts and Design need to be fully capacitated and fully enrolled. And that mathematics requirement has also been hampering that kind of a thing. And so if our artists are not institutionalized, you have these independent colleges that may not be able to really meet the standard that is required to produce the human capital that is required to take our artists forward. And then the final one pertaining to what you mentioned as a challenge of our artists not being locally celebrated. I think that's a cultural issue that government cannot really intervene on. But I think that is an opportunity. If our artists are being celebrated over there, that means our content is exportable. So we must actually dynamize that kind of dynamic to say, let our content be more exported so that we can generate that forex that we require for our GDP. That's what
Thank you, Minister. I would like to first congratulate you on your appointment. I am Mrs. Rachel Castanero. I own the College of Creative Arts Africa. The College of Creative Arts Africa trains the artists in film and theater, in graphic design, in music and sound production, in everything. Every genre is covered. And we are registered with the Ministry of Higher Education to become a University of Creative Arts in 5 years' time. We are working or training under the MSU, Midland State University. So first and foremost, it means while we are in the city, we are putting out our tentacles to be known throughout Zimbabwe as a University of Creative Arts.
Yeah. Maybe if you could just quickly ask your question.
Now I wanted to ask something. You know, to get equipment, you need foreign currency. While you are saying you are going to ensure that we get it without duty, will you also be involved in ensuring the artists or the creative educator gets a certain measure of currency to import? That's my first question. My second question, I wanted to find out, you, Priscilla Stone, talked about the grant to the girl child. I wanted us to know, how are we going to know as artists in Bulawayo what the ministry would have done? Is National Arts Council the organized structure where we go to get any information regarding what you have addressed and promised us? It will be processed. How will we know any feedback? How will we get that feedback? Even that grant for the girl child, we have a lot of orphans that are talented that we take in. How can we be helped as creative education sector? Thank you very much.
Just assist the deaf people. We have a project called Hand and Newspaper. Sister said it's next to me. She asked a question.
Just speak slowly and very clearly so that all of us can hear you.
Thank you. See, someone is asking a question here. She says some of the deaf people, they go to school, and after they finish their O-level, and they'll be taught some artwork at school. And after they finish their O-level, they can't find jobs, and they are good talents at school. And she's worried about her daughter, who is very intelligent, and she's also talented in her artwork. And she's asking, how can she get assistance for the deaf people who are good with artwork? For example, maybe they get a place where they can do their artwork.
Thank you. Just allow Sister to stand so this I can see her, and then you can just hear last. Thank you.
The last question is from me. It's about the funders. The people who fund the deaf people, it's like they are killing them, because mostly they call them for some workshops, and then when they go to the workshop, they give them some tips and money and things like that. And then they go back home, they're done, and they just sit on top of their heads, like on top of their talents, without their weights. Can you please do something for them?
Three sets of questions from the Minister. Okay, can you just get...
This is Alexander Mhlanga. Good dance. About indaba yeledi kuzimo asset. Ngananzelela sonke amagroups amaningi we don't own our own places. Sisebenzisa indawo ze-city council. And i-creative process yethu iyaphambaniseka ngoba siyaphila isikhathi. Siyashare ama-groups ngeso-6. Kuze kucele ukujotshelwa nomsiyala. So isicelo sami ukuthi minister ungasinceda njani ukuthi sithole amaleni ukuze sizakhele ama-art center yethu ukuze lathi sizimele creative process yethu siqhubeke siyaphambili njalo ngokukhuluma senjalo valo ngokubeka phansi
bengicela ukuthi ngicele intervention ka minister wethu. Sinama production amaningi esisebenza TV ZBC kodwa khathesi ngihamba no director wami la sesisenza isizini yesibili kodwa yokuqala iyabe lokhu ingakabhadali. So yikho sicela sisingathi singabantu abadubekayo besicela ukuthi lisincede kukho lokho. Siyabonga.
Sorry, umbuzo mfukuza Comrade Minister, ukuthi i-ministry does it have just igama umbuzo Ndebele. I will introduce myself as a sports law student. I'm with the university in PE, Nelson Mandela. My question is directed to the Minister. Do we have an authority or an authoritative body like IPOTRAS for the Ministry of Information and ICT? As a sports ministry, do we have a body that does that, like ZTA on tourism? Okay. Right. I would just like to share this. When the artists produce their songs, they are played in public spaces. In other countries, there is a fee that institutions pay for any public song to be played. For instance, I'll give you an example. Now, go to the public graduation ceremonies and all that, like the guys are doing there. There is a fee that you pay. In South Africa, it's 600,000 rands per university, per institution, per year. And that is collected by that authority, and that is distributed as intellectual or copyright shares, some portions to the artists themselves. That is done yearly, and every season it's religiously followed. Why I'm saying raising up here is that I hear people talking about copywriting and infringement. It's not only an individual aspect. Some institutions, they play songs for years and years. The artist not getting a cent out of it. As a ministry, I'm just imploring that probably if we can look at it in that aspect, that we take the authority to go and have these licenses. If anyone wants to do a photocopying industry, he has to pay a license for the production. And those things should be translated downwards to the author or the original producer, because it's difficult for people to quantify intellectual creativity. So you can only deal it perceptually. That's all I want to say.
I'm Steve Bloomfield. I'm part of Mag Media, an indigenous company. Two things that I would, beg your pardon?
Your name?
Steve Bloomfield. Two things that I want to mention is there was a guy called Elon Musk in South Africa, and he did programming and he wrote some programs for the internet, and from that he earned $160 million. And then from that money he went to America and did some stuff in America. He's now worth $15 billion. But the whole point that I'm making about this is that he was able to get onto the internet, and the telephone service provided him a constant internet service. Now, YouTube has got the potential of employing over 10,000 people in Zimbabwe as independent YouTube producers. But the problem is that the service of Tel1 is extremely poor with frequent breakdowns. Even today, my internet is down. 2 months ago, the internet was down for 6 weeks. 6 weeks. This makes any form of earning money from producing content for YouTube and getting paid by YouTube, it makes it impossible. Could I ask you, Honourable Minister, to look into this issue? Tel 1 does not have any technicians after 5 o'clock. Could I ask you to speak to relevant authorities and get them to have technicians on a 24-hour basis? The other thing that I wanted to mention is that in trying to get some content for ZBC, we went to ZBC and then we had problems with, sorry about that. We had problems with actually getting the content. Sorry. Yeah, so we asked them, what do you pay for a 30-minute documentary? And they said, we can't tell you. You know, and so what is this going to do to the industry, the film industry? What it's going to do is that no one is going to produce any content for ZBC. And then people are not going to watch ZBC. And then ZBC is going to be criticized because of the poor quality programs on ZBC. So if only ZBC could say to us, we will pay you $1,000 for a 30-minute program, then things can be organized and ZBC can have a lot of content. Thank you, Honourable Minister. I really do appreciate you coming, and I believe that you've encouraged us as artists in Bulawayo a tremendous amount by your example and by this meeting. Thank you very much.
Igama lami nguThulani Dube, ngisuka eHashtag Entertainment. Ngizakhuluma nge-dance, probably ama-performing artists. Lapho ngikhulele kokodlwayo. Lapha sibukela khona imidlalo develop from different groups, arts groups, ayisiza ukuzosentertainers abantwana besikolo. And part of my education ngayenzele eMkhali. Lapho futhi kwakubuya ama-arts nama-performance groups esiza se-entertain esikolo. Now the unfortunate part is I think for the past 5 or so years we're having trouble in accessing schools ukuthi siye perform khona. I don't know whether it's a policy here, Ministry of Education or kuyini, but I think my colleagues here will concur with what I'm saying. If you go to any school set to perform khona, it's hard or impossible. You are allowed them to say maybe prize giving ceremony, I'm coming to donate my service. And by so doing, we are actually making ourselves cheap. The schools are not respecting us. And subsequently, the students will never recognize the art sector as a professional paying field. So we'd love to encourage our Honourable Minister, probably this could be our colleagues, our Minister of Education, bavumele ama-performing artists ukuthi bazo-perform ezikolo. I understand the new curriculum is actually trying to dwell much on the issues of abantwana bebe ngama-performers and izinto ezinjengasozwanziyana. But then if they don't respect us, nxa sibuya kibo bekwazi sizo-performa for free, then they will not want to venture into that field. Bangakhetha maybe ukuthi babe ngodokotela or something else. But Tina, that part is actually out on our ukiti ngoba Tina asisadli kompha ama-groups amaningi afa because kwavalwa ukuthi baperform esikolo. In a school which is having about 1,200 kids, now ungahamba eperforma khona you get something like $1,200, $1 per child. So that is a lot of revenue. Ngakho ukuthi asicomplain kakhulu ngendaba zezimali ngoba kids will always love to watch us and they can always pay for that. So let's tell our intervention minister who's a story revenue.
lami ngisotsha moyo ePhokophosi. Honorable Minister, likhulume ama-awards festivals all the way to national. Mina ngizokuyinto engiqhubaqhuba ukuthi ngakhulisa i-art kwelakithi. Bese sa-wallet kancane ngendlela ukuze ukuthi izaphathwa njani. Ngoba there's tendency kwesinye isikhathi ukuthi uthole ukuthi nakhona lakithi komadlambutsi kuyabuya abantu to tell us ukuthi i-festival leyi iranwe njani lakho konke nje abantu abayimportwa to come and tell us ukuthi kwenziwa njani. Kanti kungaba njani ukuthi ekuplanning ngiyabathi into esizoplan ukuthi kuhle kube labantu abangaba ngama-resource persons abahamba either to teach abantu khona ngalo kuma-awards how to run those festivals than ukuthi bebuye bona vele sibe-complete team to come and run festivals lakho konke nje ngoba angithuthi ukwenzakala ngithi khona ma kungayenzwa ngendlela ukuthi ngabe ukuthi kubonakala ukuthi isigaba silabantu abane-that aspect tis benjani bekani kuhanjiswa abantu area befundiswa how to run those festivals ukwenzela ukuthi zithuthuke labantu bana abakhona lapho be-benefite from them. Yabonga.
Thank you, igama lami nguJafet Fumane. Mina ngo-higher education training, visual artist. The main thing engiyibonayo is ngibona i-industry isifa in the sense of ukuthi ama-artist afuna ukwenza i-formal training, inamba yawo isisibanlutshwana ngenxa yendaba eyi-1. I-requirement e-maths because ama-artist amaningi ale-talent but akwanisa ukuba ne-6 or more O-levels but i-issue ye-maths ayikho. So ngemva kweminyaka sengibone ukuthi for me enrollment ye-over 30 ngiyehla komnyaka ngibe le-1 student, which is very bad. But i-talent is there and artists want to train. Ngiyabonga.
Ngokuphinda kuza kuba ngumama olapha.
Thank you very much. My name is Bongani. I'm a journalist. Now I write for the Chronicle. So I'm not going to speak on behalf of the Chronicle. I'm going to speak on behalf of journalists. I had to put that scale. Minister, the problem that I've faced as a journalist is training. When I was doing my training at NAST, there was a training for news reporting, there was a training for business reporting, but there's no training for arts reporting. And it will also fit into there's no training for sport reporting. Then you have your different sub-sectors as you spoke about, like dance, how to report dance, how to report theatre, how to report police. So that is where the problem is with arts journalism in Zimbabwe. Specific trainings. And even the specific trainings, whether I'm now out of school, I'm now a practitioner. There's no training for journalists. Whether it's a thing from the National Arts Council of Zimbabwe, deliberately saying we are going to train journalists in theatre reporting. And the second thing is that there is a story which I once wrote about certain people who are raiding DJs in Bulawayo, saying that they are violating the Copyright Act, whatnot. There seems to be people going around with the aid of the police, because I asked the police and they say we don't think we have such an operation. But there are people who are around and say to DJs, shut down your music, you have to have an original CD of whoever's music, blah, 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 blah. If you can't pay $50, fine. and they're going around and they start doing these things in November. So I don't know if the ministry can come up with a clear policy or a policy on how this issue of copyright is. Who the DJs and who should be paid if I'm going to be a DJ? Who should I pay? So if no one can come and start saying A, B, C, and D, I've got this paper, I will represent this company, I represent this government arm. What is the clear policy from the ministry? Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Mosawenko Simbofu, representing Zim Arts, Crafts and Culture. My major concern is, it seems we are talking about performing arts throughout. My request to you, Minister, is when we are going to hold the national festivals, whatever it is, can our crafts be considered? Let's have a market fair. Because those guys who are doing the performing arts, we design their clothing, we do their clothing. So if we are not there to showcase our products, I don't think there will be much impact. So can we be included? At least maybe a market fair to showcase our products. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you. I will not answer all the questions. Is that right? Yes. But so I'll do a summary. Oh yes. Right. Admire, you want the arts sector to embrace ICTs. Yes, we agree. In fact, that's the way to go. It goes without saying. And then you want the National Lottery to fund. Again, it's agreed. At the moment, it's administered by the Ministry of Home Affairs. So we need a rationalization in that area. The lady from the university, how will we know about the interventions that we're going to be making? We will be consulting the people that presented, representing the sectors, the subsectors. My understanding was that there are those that spoke on behalf of a particular subsector. So if we communicate with them, they should be able to be in touch with the subsector. But again, we will give our responses to the National Arts Council as well as the department. We'll be working together so that those that are in the department who can visit our offices should be able to get those responses. But most importantly, the people that presented representing the subsectors, we are going to be engaging with them. The National Arts, Culture and Heritage Policy does provide for issues of equity and equality insofar as it affects gender and insofar as it affects the disabled artists. We are looking for an equalitarian type of approach to artists who are abled differently. And certainly discrimination cannot be tolerated. You, however, raised two specific issues that I want to engage with you separately. One relating to funding of the deaf. That's what we want to understand. And how we're going to be dealing with the deaf, not necessarily the disabled as an entire area. Then a colleague at the back who is afraid to speak wants land. He wants a land to build arts centers. Yes, that issue was raised also in Harare. We are going to provide a response to that area. We think that there is a standing policy according to law. The Urban Councils Act does provide for local authorities. Even the Rural District Councils Act does provide for local authorities to provide land for recreation Right. I want to look into how that could fit into the area around a lot of art is also in a sense recreation, but not all recreation is art. So I'm going to be looking into that and certainly communicate a response with regards to that. But there is already a minimum according to the Rural District Councils Act as well as the Urban Councils Act. They are required by law to set aside spaces for recreation, so forth and so on. And I think these two laws could be weak in the areas of culture and arts. I'm saying that being somebody who has been presiding over the area of sport and recreation alone. So I stand to be corrected in respect of that particular intervention. But to the extent that they could be weak in the areas of art and culture, then we have to revisit them. To the extent that we could do something with the provisions already a part of these two laws around setting aside spaces for recreation, then I will communicate that and then make sure that as artists we take full advantage of those statutory provisions. Then a colleague wanted to know whether from PE, yes, we have the organization is called National Arts Council. It's not SRC, because I don't think he's asking about sport. He's asking about arts and culture. So the organization is called National Arts Council. Now, that's the regulatory body. The conflict we find in our institutions, whether you're talking about Quatras, the Sport and Recreation Commission, National Arts Council, is that they have a dual function, which dual functions contradict in terms. The first major function is that of regulation. The second major function is that of promotion and development. Now these two are contradicting in terms. A regulator necessarily does not promote. A regulator is like a policeman. They put caps around you. And they say don't. A promoter and a developer says, let's do it. So it's a fine line in terms of trying to balance these dual roles by these statutory bodies. However, in respect to the particular question you raised about, in my view, royalties, we have a collecting society in Zimbabwe called the Simura, whose job is to collect royalties on behalf of artists. The challenge we have in Zimbabwe is that even broadcasting stations are playing music without paying, which makes them piracy practitioners themselves. So we need to address that so that our broadcasting stations, our radio stations do not just consume products without paying for it. But we do have an organization called the Simura, whose job is to collect on behalf of artists. Steve, you want to move with the times and do your work on the internet and take advantage of the opportunities that are offered by the World Wide Web. I agree with you. All of us should be doing that. You are frustrated by the continuous breakdown of services offered by Tel1. I will communicate that to my colleague, Minister Superman Luanza, who is in charge of the telecommunications sector. I've taken note of the fact that you want the technicians to be 24 hours at work. I will communicate that. Right. Performance in schools, yes. You are right, when the artists come to perform theater and all the other things, they will do that in schools and get paid, especially those that are based in the districts. So you raise an important issue of it's no longer happening. So I'll certainly look into that. and see if we can have corrective measures taken. Socha, our festivals, you want to, now let me explain my understanding. But I want to enter the explanation from a sports and recreation point of view. On the 23rd, is Minister Mabua. Minister Mabua is the Minister of Youth, Indigenization and other things. Under her are the 42 vocational training institutions in the country. It could be that we are asking that the vocational training institutions, as part of their curriculum, and I think that it should be obvious, is these areas of art, culture, music, and all that, and all that, and all that. So that these areas are then developed at a vocational level in this. So I'm going to be discussing with Minister Mabua in that area, and I'll certainly be talking about it. It is tragic that journalists training in some universities or are not, there is no focus on specialized reporting in various areas. You spoke about art reporting, you spoke about culture reporting, and even sport reporting. So it's surprising that that is happening, and we may have to input into the development of curricula within universities to make sure that the journalist who comes out as an art journalist knows what they're talking about. So that when we buy the newspaper and we are reading, as artists we are not surprised at the language which is not in tandem and compatible with the sector, because the journalist has not been trained accordingly. Then the festivals, the lady who spoke last wants the festivals to include crafts. That goes without saying. We are not asking for dancers alone. We are looking at art it's the broad gamut of art. Everything, everybody who is here representing the various subsectors, those subsectors should be a part of that festival, right from the grassroots, so that we bring to the fore, to the national level, the talent that situates in the communities, within the craft area, within the other forms of visual art, but also within the performative art subsector. So it will be all encompassing. I believe that all our mothers in the rural areas are craft artists, in a sense. Am I right? Yes. When they embroider the joyos, that is art, isn't it? When you are doing that is art. That is craft. So we should allow all that to happen. We should allow all that to happen. Now, Mr. Rashid, you want to know if I am a trained artist?
No, I just want to know about yourself, sir. Tell me about yourself, your character, and how if you've got any artistic background. I'm very impressed already.
Oh, okay. If you're impressed, I'm happy. My artistic background is that I'm a minister of art. I think for now that suffices. For now that suffices. I do have some background in the art sector, but you know that by training I'm a journalist. I also, so when this film people are talking, I know what they're talking about, because I come from a broadcast background. But I have since moved on to engage with development issues. And I have a degree in development studies. I have a master's degree in development policy, and so forth and so on, and I'm still at school. But I think that art and culture are important areas of expression of a people. And my job is to support the sector to thrive. That's what I should do. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can you give the minister another very good Once again, thank you, Honorable Minister, for this interface. The next two presentations are going to be almost about half a minute, because everybody is itching either to shake the hand of the minister or just to have their food after that. So we are not going to be very fast. I mean, very fussy about them being long. They want to be long. I'm going to ask right now the Director of the National Gallery of Zimbabwe in Bulawayo, Baba Utebe, to come forward and say a few words, and immediately after that, I will ask who raised on Mbaya to give the shortest vote of thanks he has ever given. Thank you very much.
Kuwe Minister Baba Makhosini Hlongwane, inkosi wenzile kahle. Kube kuhle ukuba lapho. We thank you so much for being part of us. Umuntu ngumuntu ngabantu. Nampa abantu okumele ube ngumuntu ngawo. Nalawo mazwi indakuba unyaka usekhanda. Ngalawo mazwi sikunika isicoco. Siyabonga sithi kuze kuthi ngilinike ingqondo lina eliwe izicoco zokupresenta ama-sections enu. That's brilliant. We need to continue that dialogue. As a section, we need to continue that dialogue. My boss is here. I am putting my head on the for him to crucify me if need to be. The space is available. You sectional, if you want to have a meeting to discuss the things that we've evaluated here, so that there's a body that can take the things up. Let's do it as artists. The space is available. I have room to look at it. It's available for free. What do I want to do? So for us to continue, that is true, but they are available for free. Because today's the so we will have a moment from one step of after this is insane. Thank you so much. God bless you.
The shortest vote of thanks. I think I want to begin by thanking the minister for taking this time or the whole day to sit with us and listen to us and then give us feedback. It's rare that we can get this opportunity.
I also want to take this opportunity to thank Ubaba Reverend Damasan, and I'm not sure what things are talking about, but Mr. Moyo, I'm talking about two reverends, so I'm not sure where you know some reverend, was true or not, but we also want to thank both of them for the leadership that they've been giving us, good sector for all these years. I would also want to thank Uba Kutebe for the space that he has given us today as a gallery, and also for the leadership in terms of visual arts. I also recognize maybe others, Mugoma, our senior artist, Mbona, Twanya Sehambile, Unoba Mutwala Yamuva Ale, Unoba Bena, Unoba Unyachi, Omuela, Siaboma Akuru for being here and also always giving us direction. Unoba Babeku Krunat, Mr. Bakoshi Babona, Siaboma. But to all of us, I want to thank us not only for coming, but for the dialogue, the maturity, and the way we deliberated today. Meeting this time, but today I think we are behaved like real artists. Joe, we used to say respect is important. I believe we are the sugar and I'm high, Lapana and Lama artists. Thank you very much.
Siyabonga kakhulu Patricia Siyaphuma siyethola ukudla upstairs.
The area of Minister Mabua. Minister Mabua is the Minister of Youth, Indigenization and other things. Under her is taking 42 vocational training institutions in the country. It will be that we are asking that the vocational training institutions
taking off with infallible proofs. It's a new era. One night with the king.
What does it mean to be Zimbabwean? To be Zimbabwean is to carry the mark of leadership. And leadership begins when you embrace your purpose and take responsibility. These times we're living in are evidence that each one of us was born in this generation for a great purpose. A purpose to shape Zimbabwe's future, a responsibility to carry the promise and live in the Zimbabwe we want. Zimbabwe is waiting for a generation of people who understand the meaning of standing up. You are the stepping stone, the one with the flame of inspiration, the one with the passion, the one who has what it takes to move Zimbabwe forward. It's time to stand up and do what is right. It's time to rise and do your part. It's beyond a privilege. It's an inheritance, a pledge that everyone has to make. So rise, Zimbabwe. Simuka, Zimbabwe. Pakama, Zimbabwe. It's time to pledge, register, and go vote.
Revival International Ministries Wachange takaungana pa Zimbabwe College of Music. Tine one night with the king. Patinenge takaungana na baba vedu Apostle Dr. Professor Raymond Mjay, the Oracle of God naika. Pamwechete na mama vedu Prophetess Agrita Mjay. So 3 November it's a night with the king. Pachange tichitanga naiko pa Zimbabwe College of Music 7 p.m. Shikamangwana acho na 8 a.m. Uyemaka wandaka unochaga okuyana ukausuye uruwanika.
This livecast has been powered by Zim DITV News, a division of Sly Media Productions, specialists in social media streaming and in-house TV productions.